That's Chase Young, the guy who was expected to be the second overall pick in the draft. And look, Peter, Washington holds that selection for now. And you always want to keep your options open. You want to see who may blow you away with an offer you can't refuse. It was Washington who moved up to pick number 2 8 years ago and gave up a king's ransom to get RG3. Do you think there's any way somebody blows the doors off of Ron Rivera and company to give up the opportunity to get a guy that a lot of people think may be even better than Nick Bosa, the second overall pick last year?
I think they should try, Mike. You know, the specter that has been raised to me over the weekend, I didn't write about it. I thought it was going to be a little bit alarmist and writing about something and raising an issue that is just way, way, way premature. But I'm telling you, there's some people in the NFL thinking about it right now. What happens if there's either very little college football or some diminution of college football in the fall, and you don't really see all that much of the people who are playing college football? What happens then? You know, who knows what the NFL is going to be? But all I'm saying is, what if colleges aren't open? Are college football games going to be played if colleges are not open? I mean, you know, so there's all these things that you, on April 21st, you simply can't know. And I only raise the specter of uncertainty about virtually everything, of saying that, okay, so if next year would be an absolute, incredibly uncertain period in the draft, if there's even going to be a draft at all or whatever, you just don't know what the future holds, wouldn't that increase the value of a generational pass rusher that you could get right now with all the uncertainty in front of you? So whereas normally you wouldn't think, let's just say for the sake of argument, if you're the, pick a team, if you're the Baltimore Ravens and you're picking low in the first round, would you give your next 3 ones to move up to number 2 to pick Chase Young? Now, I doubt they would do that. I don't know that anybody would do that. But in my opinion, at the very least, Washington shouldn't fill in the mental card yet with Chase Young. I would wait through late in the day Thursday before I made an absolute decision on that call.
And Peter, you make an excellent point about college football. I get so focused on how the NFL is going to pull it off this year based on the pandemic. When you hear some of the things that people like Jack Swarbrick, the Notre Dame athletic director, told Mike Tirico last week, comments from guys like Bob Bowlesby, the Big 12 commissioner, you can't have college football where it's just football but no college. If the campuses are closed, right, the idea of letting the football teams in, that's the point where they admit wrestling is fake. That's the point where they rip down the wall and acknowledge, right? They acknowledge it's all a business. They're just chasing the dollar. Yeah. And they don't want to do that because when the world gets back to normal, once you break down that fourth wall, you have to pay the players. Once everyone realizes and everyone admits that it is a billion-dollar machine they're trying to preserve for 2020. So I'm with you. No college football this fall, whether it's the season gets canceled, whether it gets bumped into the spring. Good luck with the 2021 draft if college football is still happening when it's time for the draft. But I agree with you. Those future picks, you don't know what the hell they're worth because you may have nothing to base them on. You may be basing your 2021 draft on 2019 film, which is basically pointless when you consider how much changes from one year to the next.
Mike, if you're Ron Rivera and Kyle Smith in Washington right now, wouldn't you at least pick up the phone, call Chris Greer in Miami today and say, hey, Chris, you got 3 1s this year and 2 2s. You got 2 2s and 2 1s next year. So in the next 2 years, you've got 9 picks in the first and second round. You're going to use your first pick, let's say, to take a quarterback. Whatever you do at 5, you're going to get your quarterback. Maybe you go up to 3, whatever. But why don't you at least inquire to see if Miami would be willing to sort of pillage 3 great picks out of their next 2 drafts, or maybe 2 great picks and 2 twos out of the next 2 drafts to get the second pick in the draft and go get Chase Young. And again, I've been thinking about this ever since a couple of teams mentioned it to me over the weekend. And that is, what if college football really is either doesn't exist or you can't make many good judgments on players this fall? You know, doesn't that make this year's value of high picks just a little bit more? And especially if your whole design is to build for the long haul with great talent. I mean, imagine you're Miami and you come out of here with the quarterback of the future and this generation's best pass rusher, with all apologies to the Bosa brothers. It's just, I would look into it anyway, just to see if there's anything there if I'm Washington.
All the more reason to get excited about what's coming on Thursday night, because we don't know what's going to happen, and we won't know what happens until it does.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.